Hey all my YouTuber friends. This is Steve Cross back here today with a few tips and tricks for you. And today's tip and trick is how to go a little bit cheaper on getting some big power for your electronics while you're on the ice without having to buy one of those high dollar lithium get-ups. So, got a $35 lawnmower battery. This little sucker here gives you 3 days worth of power on the ice, and it's not very heavy, as you can see. I got one of my little old lunchbox coolers. Inside of there I mounted a little $10 USB port with a cigarette lighter port, and I usually put a USB port in the cigarette lighter outlet. Then I got a little switch here that I'm going to add. I've had this together for a couple years already and it works great. But today I'm taking it apart. I'm going to add this little switch in it because there's a little blue light on there that stays on when the power's on all the time. So I always have to disconnect one of the wires off the battery post while I'm not using it. Otherwise, when it sits for a couple weeks, that'll drain the battery down pretty good, so I won't get the longevity I normally would. So today I'm pretty much adding a little on-off switch so things don't run out while I'm not using it. So I'm going to show you how things go together and what it looks like in the end. And just for starters, this is my top here. Bam! Slips right on there, nice as can be. The little Helix 5 works 3 days without any charge off that lawnmower. So here's my Helix 5, which has GPS on it and down imaging, side imaging and such, but that don't matter, down and side imaging, so much when you're on the ice. You just need that depth finder read down. So here's how it's all mounted. Pretty simple. Just screwed it to the top there. Got a little silicone underneath of it so it secures a little better. And then over here I got my transducer. The extra transducer line is just wrapped up. It goes, I'll store this inside the box. And here's my power, which I'm going to plug the power back in, reconnect it to my switch that I'm going to put on there. So I used my little drill bit there. Got a couple pilot holes in there from a little stainless screws. Now I'm going to secure the switch inside of here. I'm not using a drill on it because I don't want to screw these screws in too tight real quick. So it's just a little clip on this switch that I'm screwing through the sides. So I'd hate to mess up the switch right away by over tightening it and ruining those clips. So here we go. Switch is in place. I'm going to get the wiring done next. I'm going to get of course, from the battery to the switch wired up. I'm going to get that wire cut and ready to hook to the battery. Then after the switch, it'll go to my cigarette lighter outlet, my USB outlet, and to my graph. So I got the next step going here. I got the power from the cigarette lighter outlet / USB port, and the power from my Helix, my graph right here. They're tied together with a female that will tie into my switch. And then I got the grounds tied together, and I'm going to get another wire on that, and that'll simply go right to the ground on the battery with one of these little round connector ends. So I'm going to plug this guy in to my switch. Alright, then got my power out of the switch that'll go to the battery connector. Alright, pretty easy, pretty easy. Now I'm going to throw this wire on here real quick, the ground, with my battery connection on it. It's just simple as that. We'll see in 1 second when I got that all hooked up. So here we go, got my ground side. Got my positive side. Get up here. Put the battery in place. Just simple as that. I'm going to get my bolts and connect my positive to positive and negative to negative. So here we go, just simple as that. I always get a wing nut connection with a regular type bolt. This is a 1/4 inch size. It fits that 1/4 inch connector I got just perfect. And I always have a wing nut on there instead of a nut, 2 nuts, or a nut and a bolt, because if something does happen, I need to do some swapping out. It's not so hard to take a wing nut off, and I don't have to have tools out on the water. You know, stuff happens. It's ice fishing. If there's one thing about ice fishing, it's tough on your equipment. Sometimes you gotta make changes on the water. So, you know, what if a wire broke? If everything got so rigid and cold that I was moving stuff around there, snapped a wire and had to redo it. You know, that's some common stuff could happen. So there I go. Positives hooked up, negatives hooked up. Got my switch inside there now. We turn it on. Bam, there's the blue light. I got power to my USB port now, so I don't have to disconnect it every time I'm on and off the water. Power off. Simple as that. So, get the old Helix up on top there and stuff my wires in here. So my transducer cable, I'll stuff it back here. We'll kind of slide this front. Stuff extra transducer cable back there. The extra bit of power cable is right here. I had to use a little torch and heat up a knife, my butter knife, and kind of smooth out this edge for the wires to go back here. So she sits right in there like that nicely. And we better turn it on. Oh, I gotta put the handle down. Alright, so there we go. What do I got going here? Oh, I gotta move back just a pinch. Alright, there we go. Handles up. Around there. And there we go. She's turning on. Just perfect. So, and I just got a regular boat transducer that came off one of my old graphs, because any hummingbird transducer will work with any hummingbird. You can get the bigger transducer from on the boat. It's 135 bucks, the one that actually gives you side imaging when you're driving on the lake with the boat. But this here is just one of the transducers I had left over off my old graphs. I mean, it could be 10 years old. This hummingbird used the same transducer for dang near every graph. You can get more advanced transducers for the more advanced needs for your other graphs, but the basic works for your ice rig. I wish I was sitting on the water now so I could show you, but I'll throw a clip in of what it looks like when it's working, what a fish looks like on it too. But there we go. I just got a little piece of wire on there because you know, the ice transducer is 100 bucks to get the ice transducer, and this guy works just fine. That little wire, little tape right there, holds it flat. Nice. All right, thanks for watching. We'll show a little lick of how the graph works, and the rest is up to you. Go save some money. Get your little cooler. If you got one around the house, it's free. And a little bit of wiring and a couple wire connectors. I spent like 15 bucks buying the wire connectors, and I'll have some extra stuff around for stuff for later. And the little switch was $3. So for about less than, well, take the lawnmower battery, it was 35 bucks. All my little parts, you know, like the switch and the connector stuff was 15. So for about 50 bucks, you can have you a power source that lasts for days with a USB connector inside. So you can plug in your cell phone to charge. You can plug in your bubbler for your live well or for my bait bucket. I plug in my GoPros into this thing. When I got this thing running a whole bunch of stuff, it'll last 2 days full out, like 24 hours a day, not just going out for a few hours. 24 hours a day running that bubbler all night, because I'll go out for the weekend and do the overnighters. So, all right, thanks for watching. go. We're getting the bites. Getting the bites. Let's see which one it hits. Oh yeah, he's definitely on that guy here. I think it's just another little fish though, so you can kind of tell that this seems to be the little ones. Got that real quick. There we go. It's coming back up off bottom again. The old Mr. Heater's running out of his first 2 tanks too, it looks like. Just sputtering away. There we go. There we go.